What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster. And for all the game studios out there in the world today who need a little lesson on how to handle negative attention, let me give you an extremely brief lesson. The worst thing that you can do is start silencing gamers, because that just feeds the outrage, and it just comes off as super weak and pitiful, which is what South of Midnight is looking like right now.
But now that I see him, I do pity him.
I will say this for South of Midnight though, and it is faint praise at best, but the game is definitely selling better than something like Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn did. Both of those games are Sweet Baby Inc. games, and as we all know by now, generally, whatever that company touches turns to shit. But at the time of this recording, about a day removed from the early access period for the game, South of Midnight is sitting at number 218 on the top sellers list on Steam. That's pretty bad, but at least South of Midnight will most definitely end up hitting numbers higher than the numbers we saw here for Flintlock.
Great kid! Don't get cocky!
But meanwhile, the Steam discussions page is running into a situation where the community managers for this game are showing us their true colors. Naturally, a lot of people are talking on there, and sometimes things turn negative. Of course, not everyone is going to be positive about games. After all, there's a lot to be negative about with regards to South of Midnight. A lot of people don't like the stop motion animation, for example, but the community managers are swooping in with a pretty heavy hand, and they are locking a ton of the conversations, as you can see here, which just goes to show the frame of mind of the people behind this game.
Don't be such a pussy.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also, please consider supporting the channel by becoming a member. Audiobook of a dark fantasy novel I've written will be available for members to get the first crack at, as well as a cartoon that I'm working on. It's important that we not just complain about what we don't like, alternatives must be provided. So, I humbly ask that you consider becoming a member of the channel for the fraction of the cost of a cup of coffee every day. But anyhow, let's talk about South of Midnight and what these community managers are doing. Now, let me throw this out there. I can see why a community manager would occasionally lock a conversation on the community hub. Sometimes people get heated in their discussions, things get ugly, and you don't want to be associated with too much drama as a video game franchise. So, you just lock a conversation, you tell people to chill out. It is one arrow in a community manager's quiver, but it should be used sparingly. For reference, I just looked through all the discussions on Steam for Doom: The Dark Ages, and on 17 pages worth of discussion, I found 2 that were locked. 2 threads were locked. One of those threads were talking about adding the Ukrainian language to the game, as you can see here, and another one was where they were talking about some LGBT stuff. And to be clear, there were a lot of other threads that talked about those 2 topics that were not locked, so it's not as though those are just forbidden topics or anything like that. But now, if we compare that to South of Midnight, well, there's just no comparison at all. On only 7 pages worth of community hub discussions, I counted 25 threads that are shut down, and most of them aren't even that bad. The criticism in it is often tepid. This right here is the last page of the community hub for South of Midnight, and if we click on the one that says Great Trailer, a fairly innocuous title, it takes us to a discussion with only 4 comments. The first person said said it was a great trailer and briefly mentions Left 4 Dead 2 in some comparisons, and the next person says they expect the game to be a flop, the next person gives the original poster shit for mentioning Left 4 Dead on a South of Midnight forum, and then the original poster defends himself. And that shit got locked. What the hell was even wrong with that? But then, look at this one. This thread also got shut down after 4 comments. The first person says, fantastic trailer, and then lists a whole bunch of things they liked about the game's trailer, and then another account says, yeah, that looked cool, I'm seriously interested in this game, and then a third account swoops in and says it's beautifully made and they're pumped for the release, but then that guy at the bottom wrote, yup, great trailer, can't wait to buy the trailer. And then he says, these hype bots are pathetic, lol. And once again, they locked this. How thin-skinned do you have to be to lock that? I mean, were those first commenters actually bots? If so, then I can see why the community managers would get butthurt about someone pointing that out, but otherwise, this is the most banal and most common sort of discussion in the history of the internet. But yeah, they are pretty thin-skinned. Look at some of these discussions that were locked out. The top one says, has the presumed main character been part of other games? The next one says, please add Ukrainian localization to this game, and then delay or cancellation incoming with a question mark. And then another person wrote, another female-only game. And lastly, at the bottom, they locked a conversation which says, I want this game, don't ruin it. Basically, what you'll find in most of these discussions is that they get locked after a few comments pop in that has even a tiny bit of criticism for South of Midnight. And as I said at the top of this video, such a thing is not particularly helpful for studios. The best advice I could give these guys, if they want to actually battle criticism, is to tell people that criticize you that you're sorry that they feel that way, but we're hopeful that a bunch of other people love this game as much as we loved making it. That might sound overly simplistic, but it works. That's just about all they would have to do as community managers. But these people aren't doing anything. These actual community managers aren't doing a damn thing to help this game. And in fact, all the marketing for South of Midnight has been just terrible. The trailers haven't shown much action at all, which leads most people to think there isn't much to show or that it isn't impressive. The stop motion is meant to make the game stylish looking, but to gamers, it makes it look like the game is having issues running properly, and they've yet to engage with people calling on them to include a mode which eliminates the stop motion. There's been little advertising at all, and as I said the other day, the makers of this game, Compulsion, they seem totally content to just cash the check from Microsoft for putting the game on Game Pass on day one and just forgetting about everything else. It's like they aren't even trying. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. Drop your mockery of these thin-skinned community managers at Compulsion into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.